Well, tell us about KZUM.
Fantastic organization. I mean, this is an organization that lets people come in, do their own show, and their own show, when I say radio show, I mean they could have a talk show, or they can have a music show, or they can help, you know, whatever they want to do, it volunteer work they want to do. And so it's like public television, but it's public radio. And it's radio that 30 years, we've been there for 30 years. The community is community supported. And in the beginning, when KZUM first started, they was part of the National Federation of Community Broadcasters, and there's about 250 stations all over the country decided to get together and work together because the Congress was saying they're going to cut federal money for public radio and TV, and so you have to be supported by your community. And I went to about 5 or 6 of the workshops, mostly in management. So I had a wonderful time. I went from there, then I left KZUM for a little while and went to Waterloo, Iowa, and ran that station. It was the #1 minority radio station in the country, KBBG. It's a small little town of 77,000, so that was a new experience. But they had more minorities than Lincoln, and they was a community that was really connected, and they are a leader in when it comes to community radio. So I got some good experience the year I was there.
So how do you pull all these different things together into your personal mission? You know, you talked about being a lifelong Lincolnite. You've talked about your volunteer experiences, you know, specifically with at-risk youth or youth at promise. I mean, there's different ways we refer to these youth. And you talked about some multicultural elements of, you know, working at the Malone Center in your past job, and now you're at KZUM. What is your personal mission? What do you hope, I mean, what do you hope to achieve on behalf of your community?
Well, I hope to, and that's the goal of KZUM also, is to be more diverse. And we want to have more minorities, the new minorities that's coming to Lincoln, to learn out where the different facilities are. They can get help. And my goal is to bring more minorities into radio and TV broadcasting. You know, I love doing This Is Lincoln, my TV show.
Now, wait a second, you have a TV show as well?
I have a TV show.
Well, your cards just keep coming out one after another here.
It's just a lot of fun. I just like to keep busy. I'm a workaholic, you know, that I'm American, and that work ethic that says, you know, you work to have fun, and that's me.
Well, what would you impress upon a young person? Obviously, you lead by example with your volunteerism, but what is it about volunteerism that's appealing to you, and what do you say to a young person who's thinking about volunteering for the first time?
Oh, I would definitely ask a young person to volunteer, because I wrote a paper in college about volunteerism and how it could change the United States if people would take the time to volunteer in something they have a passion for. It's just, I would definitely encourage the youth to do this, because it would help them become a better person, because they're giving instead of receiving.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any, obviously you volunteer for some organizations yourself. KZUM is run by volunteers. Are there any other agencies in town that you would highlight for people to volunteer with?
Oh yeah, besides you know, #1 is always Malone Center, but I would say, People in Need, Center for People in Need.
Sure.
That's a great organization. I would say Cedars Home. That's a great organization. I would get involved in some of the clubs, you know, like the Satoma Club. I was a Satoma member for many, many years, and so it's just something that is to help the community to become a better community. And we have one of the most exciting things they have here in Lincoln is Lincoln Leadership, which I was in class #2, and it just teaches you how to be on different board of directors so you can be an effective leader. So I always recommend to get involved, because by getting involved, you help the city.
Sometimes people hear about getting on a board of directors, and some people think that that's prestigious, some people think that's a lot of work, some people think it costs them money. Could you generalize some of your experience, or maybe what you learned at Leadership Lincoln, and what you've seen now that you are a member of different boards of directors? What does that mean?
It's a way to give back to the community. I look at it as a way to give back, so the next generation can have it a little bit easier. And you know, right now, one of my favorite groups right now is Community Service Fund. I would like to see Community Service Fund and United Way work more closely together, because they got the same mission. helping nonprofit organizations.
Well, you have really just touched on, many of the things that are most valuable to Lincolnites, and I'm sure you have an opinion about where our city's going and maybe how we relate to the national scene. I see you have a newspaper with you today, which tells me that you might be interested in some other issues.
Well, I was just looking at the paper that Mr. Abel was kind enough to give $2.1 million to United Way. That kind of struck my eye. I was a little disappointed I didn't see Malone Center's name in that, to share the wealth of that. I seen the others, and so I was a little concerned. I was just trying to read it to get a deeper meaning, because maybe they just accidentally didn't put them there, because I know they're in the United Way. They get money from United Way. Community Service Fund, yeah, I wanted to talk about that, because those are other nonprofit organizations that are not covered by United Way. So the people of Lincoln need to know that there's other nonprofits that need their money. And they have another avenue to help by donating money to Community Service Fund.
Okay.